Anyway, welcome to Tacos. My name is Ken. What we do on the tour, which takes about an hour, I'll give you a little bit of history, why we're here. I will tell you what malt is. Most people don't know. Yeah. Then we'll go through into the malt house and we'll have a look and see how we actually make it. Because all we do here is we make malt for brewing into beer. Mm-hmm. We don't make malt extract for food. It is purely for just brewing. Mm-hmm. What we do, we've done the same way since 1902. All the machines that we used in 1902 we still use today. So they're all pretty old.
Yeah. Ah, so.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are you farmers? No? Some.
I am the son of a farmer.
Son of a farmer. So you would recognise barley, you would know?
Es sieht sehr einfach aus.
It looks pretty much the same.
Yeah.
The outside of each grain is almost unchanged. It's what's inside is very different.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Very, very light in colour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To
light. That is darker than
very dark malt, black malt.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which is used in very dark beers like Guinness.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like Guinness.
Yeah.
Guinness
Okay.
Guinness so dark. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gekocht.
Very light temperature. 60 degrees.
Yeah.
60 Grad.
90 degrees.
Immer dunkler.
Yeah.
295.
Oi.
That is hotter than a domestic oven in a house would go. That dries the barley. Mm-hmm. If it comes to us and it's wet and we store it, it goes, it starts growing or it goes mouldy, it goes bad. And what it does, it turns like a giant tumble dryer. The less the farmer gets paid, because it adds to the weight. So the farmer needs to bring it to us as dry as he can possibly get it. Because what we do is we take 3 samples and we check it and we agree the moisture content, and that's how that particular delivery of barley is paid. It's our safety reminder. If you fell in to a container full of barley, you would drown. You would go to the bottom.
Oh!
Yeah, so you won't be doing that. And he would put a trap for the rat. He would come around, he'd take the rat out from the trap, bang him on the head, and then he would take off the rat's tail. He would cut it off, and then he collected the tails and he was paid each week by how many tails. So what we do into this tank, it's called a steep tank, which is a strange word. I'm sure in German you wouldn't have the same.
Stahltank.
It actually means we are soaking it. It is soaking in water. It is absorbing, taking in the water. We put into here 6 tons of barley. Six tons went in, and when it's been soaking, it will come out as 8 tons. It's picked up 2 tons of water. So here we have wet barley. You can see it sort of makes a ring on the floor where it's slightly damp. The small ones. Temperature in here is always the same. It's 12 degrees. 12 degrees, which is the perfect temperature for drinking bitter. Not lager. Lager is chilled, bitter is cool. Cellar temperature. So we keep it at 12. While it's growing, 12 degrees is right. If it gets too warm, we open the windows to let air through, because if it's too warm, it speeds up the growing process. It grows faster, which might sound good, but you actually don't get the same flavour in the malt. There's barrow. Very easy to use. You can actually push that with one finger.
Damit fahren Sie das rüber.
So beautifully balanced. This design actually goes back to 1850. The again, typically Victorian. The old barrows we've got over there made of wood rather than nylon are exactly the same size. For 3 days, everything takes 3 days. It's 3 days in the tank, 3 days here on the floor, and 3 days in the kiln. You can have a look. That's actually growing. Right now, in my hand, it's growing, and it's still wet.
Yeah, it's not fudge.
From the moisture it's picked up. We don't water it again. And you can see the little roots just beginning to appear. Yeah. So that is now what we call green malt. It's not malt, it's not barley. So every 8 hours, day and night, we have to plough it, we have to break it up, or we run a machine across it which will spin it over to stop those roots tangling. And that will also put oxygen back in, which helps it to grow. But it has to be done day and night. If they do tangle and we can't do any more, we can't use it. So we have to be very careful to walk on it. But the one thing we don't want to do is leave great big mountains of it, because you get uneven growth. So that's a malt plough. We think the handle's probably 100 years old. The blade isn't. Barley is full of starch, like flour, just like the flour you would use for cooking. The starch there. When it grows, it's like all seeds, 2 things happen. You have rootlets, tiny roots at one end, and a shoot, a green shoot that comes from the other end. While they're growing, the starch, it's a chemical, natural process, turns to sugar to feed that while it's growing. And that sugar is called maltose, which you tried earlier on. And when the shoot is about 3/4 of the way round, is when there is the most sugar in the barley, green malt. That is the time we have to stop it growing. And the only way we can stop it from growing is to take it to the kiln and cook it. We kill it. If that shoot gets to the end, there's no sugar left. So you will never ever see green shoots on the malting floor. The kilns are never doing the same thing at the same time. So that if we've got this one heating up and that one's cooling down, we can actually suck the hot air out from that, bring it down and reheat it. So it's quite efficient, it's very efficient in its use of gas. Okay, those are the rootlets. And we have to remove the rootlets after they've been cooked. So those are basically cooked roots. Generally quite old, again it's 1902. If you look at it, it's called the improved malt screen. I don't know what the unimproved one was like. And what happens after it's been in the kiln and baked, we bring the malt down here, and as it rolls across that screen, the rootlets break off and fall through. So there's no moving part, it's technically not a machine. You wouldn't want to spend long in there.
Is het warm hier drin. Oh, niks hier weg.
Well, Bogey were Suffolk.
Okay.
That's all he does all day.
Bye bye.
Very nice.
one bottle each.
Yeah.
And what is in there is called Devonshire Prize. The picture on the label is the same as that one, who is Edwin Tucker, who started everything off back in 1843. Right. So it's got his name on it. So this was all brewed next door for us, with our name on. That's the one, Devonshire Prize. There are 4 other beers that you can buy if you like our beer. We can buy them in the shop. It's really dark, very dark porter. They also do their own beers as well, and you can get them in the local pubs.